you're confident you can do it again. Well, when you kind of get those visualizing reps in, you've seen yourself do it. So it just builds that confidence and really relates to your performance.
Victoria Francis, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We were just reminiscing. It's always great to have an Illinoisan on. Take us back to Litchfield. I heard in 5th grade you told your teacher you wanted to be the president. Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah. I sometimes I forget I ever did that, and I'm looking back like, why did I ever think that was, a thing? But I had told my 5th grade teacher, like, I wanted to be the first female president, which, I guess I could still do it. I could still make that dream happen. I'm still in the running. But I even in 5th grade, I kind of wanted to do great things, good things, give my best to the world. And in my mind, I guess that was president.
That was it at the time. Now, yeah. Do you have siblings or parents that are athletic and driven like that?
I have an athletic family, sort of. Like my dad, before he had kids, he did a lot of biking. He would, go bike 40 miles, and go do that. He was a police officer, so he was kind of fit when he started. My younger brother was also in wrestling for a couple years. He's so naturally like athletic, but he doesn't have like the ambition. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm not much for sports, but he's tall, big guy. So like everybody's trying to get him for football, and he's just like, I don't play football. So, but no, I'm kind of the only real major athlete in my family. Yeah, I kind of stick out.
And I'm guessing that Litchfield's a small town, right?
Yes. So my graduating class was 96 people. So
there you go. So yeah. I'm guessing they didn't have a lot of female wrestlers on the team. What was your experience like getting into wrestling at an early age and then kind of on through high school?
Yeah, so I started in middle school in 6th grade, and I was the only girl on the team, and I just knew it was hard, and I was like, but it wasn't, I felt like I could do it. It's just like, I know I'm a hard worker, and if all you need me to do is work hard, I can do that. Which is funny looking back, my middle school coach told me, he's like, I was trying to run you off. So we just ran like the whole first practice, and you stuck with it. So I was like, yeah, I did. I did as I was told. There was one year in 8th grade where there was a girl on the team with me, but she didn't stick with it. But yeah, it was really hard just being the only girl on the team. I felt like some of the guys didn't want me there. They kind of told me physically in the room, with a couple black eyes and hard cross faces. And it's like, okay, I know you don't want me here, but because you don't want me here, I guess I'm going to stick it out just to make you mad. So it was definitely hard. But thankfully, my dad got me into going to the girls tournaments with the USWA. And that gave me a chance to be competitive against, female wrestlers my size, and notice, my progress, even though I'm getting my butt kicked by boys on the daily.
How often were you wrestling in all girls tournaments growing up?
So my first couple years, I just went to the Illinois ones. I'd go to one a year. But after that, my dad started taking me to Wisconsin, to Indiana, and then Missouri, Kansas. And then my senior and junior year, I went to the Nationals in Michigan. So I was getting like 5 to 6 girls tournaments a year. I never did like the USA Wrestling stuff just because it was expensive for him to get a coaching card, me and my membership. So we just stuck to that circuit, and it worked out for me, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, you're one of the best in the world. And I mean, it's incredible to see how far anyone's path can go, but especially you, where at your early days in wrestling, we all know it's hard enough, but people are actively trying to get you to quit coming. And so as you said that, I'm like, God, that sucks that there's an environment out there like that. And it's kind of a bummer, because you want to be there, and why would you want to be somewhere where someone doesn't want you? And so how did you process that? And as you were coming up, did you harbor a lot of it, or?
I mean, it was definitely more of a motivation for me, is like, you don't want me here. You don't think I can do this. Like, I'm going to prove you wrong. But even though it was like hard on me, and this is kind of a mindset I've had, like even the past few years, as I've seen women's wrestling growing, is even though it's hard on me, at least it's opening the door to the next girl. So, my middle school coach, like I said, he was trying to run me off the first day, but now he's like one of my biggest supporters. And if the girl ever came across his room again, like he would understand that, hey, girls also belong here. And, it was hard on me, but I've opened those doors for the next girls to come through that room.
That's so cool to think about it that way, is that you kind of took the pain and punishment so that now hopefully other young girls out there aren't experiencing that.
Right. Yeah.
And so you're wearing a Life University sweatshirt, and I gotta ask, because I thought it was it's super cool that there's this Women's Sports Foundation fund, and you guys were the recipient of it. Tell me a little bit about the program at Life University.
Right. So I got connected with Life University in 2018 during my sanction. I met Ashley Sword and Christian Slavin, and they kind of took me under their wing and became my coaches. I got to go out there, meet their girls. And it was really incredible meeting their team and just how their culture is there. It's always meeting other teams because every culture is a little different. But got to meet them and, help out the program a little bit and train with them. And then Women's Sports Foundation was offering the first year of the Tara Vanderveer Fund to help pay for women's coaching in the college level. Life won that. Life Women's Wrestling won that. And I ended up taking the position, which was really cool because not only then were Ashley and Christian, my wrestling coaches, but then they were my coaching coaches, like showing me kind of the behind the scenes and the logistics of, handling a team. We got to run WCWAs again that year. So that was a really cool experience to be on both sides of that. So it was definitely a really good experience for me. I'm very grateful that I got to be part of that.
And when you were at Lindenwood, was that an all girls team there as well?
Yes. Yeah. Lindenwood Women's Wrestling was kind of like one of the top 5 teams when I was there for WCWA. They kind of dropped off after some coaching changes, but there's still a women's team there as far as I know.
Gotcha. Okay. Now I was just curious on that foundation award. So that paid for essentially your salary for a year. Is that right?
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's what it went to. Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned earlier that you were coming up through the ranks and you were getting to more and more all girls tournaments as a kid. One of the tournaments I wanted to ask you about was the 2014 Junior Worlds. Where was that at?
That was in Croatia.
And was that your first international trip?
No, thankfully I went to Germany, the Germany-Austria tour earlier that year. And then I think I also went to Mexico for Pan Am. So I had a couple I had an overseas trip and a couple internationals, but thank goodness, because that first one was just like, I was so nervous, so anxious, so nervous, didn't know what to expect. And it was definitely eye-opening, going to a foreign country the first time, flying with the first couple flights before you meet up with everybody on your own. So I was like nervous about that. And it was a really fun summer for me. It was a big step of growth.
What was the biggest kind of the not the biggest, but your fondest memory from that first 2014 Junior Worlds?
Shoot. I just remember getting the chance to kind of explore the city. We were in Zagreb, getting to explore, and it just felt like, all right, like I'm kind of getting grown now. Like I'm not, on vacation with mom or dad, it's like I'm out here with my cohorts and we're just, checking things out and it's fun. And that was just really cool. And then, going out after the tournament to go, celebrate and, got pizza and ice cream. It was just fun to, be with wrestlers and just having a good old time.
That's pretty cool that, once you're at that level, you're in a rare group of wrestlers that gets to travel the world and wrestle. And you've been doing that since 2014, which is crazy. You're a veteran of the tour now. It's just, when you look back, did you ever have any ideas that you would wrestle this long and make a career out of it?
Yeah, once again, going back, as long as all I have to do is work hard, I can do that. I can always put, the effort forward. So I feel like, I have the ability to go long term. So even going through college years, I was like, yeah, 2020, 2024. That's the plan. In middle school and high school, I did not have that intention at all. I was like, high school, I'm done. I'm not wrestling college. That's going to be too hard. I want to focus on academics because I was definitely a nerd growing up and very academically, focused. So I didn't think wrestling past high school was in my future. But once I got on the college scene, I was like, yeah, I can do this.
Yeah. And you've talked a lot about the physical work as something you welcome. I'm always curious about the mental side of things. How do you think about the mental game? Do you take time of the day to meditate? Do you do a lot of mental reps? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so that's been kind of something I've gotten into the past couple of years because, like I said, like you were saying, I really just welcome the physical side, and it's something my dad has always tried to like kind of build into me. He's like, you should try meditating, or he just gives me like really good affirmations. Like if I see him, he, like, you believe you can win, you're gonna win. It's just kind of that positive thinking. But yeah, I try to meditate. I try to meditate daily. It doesn't always work out, but I like to meditate like right before practice. Like I'll drive to practice, sit in my car, 5-10 minutes, meditate, and that just really helps calm me down and like kind of set that barrier of like, all right, whatever happened before is before. Now it's practice time. I do enjoy journaling. I think more of that is just kind of like reflecting on the practice, reflecting on the day, what went well, what needs to be done tomorrow. And I love visualizing. Like visualization like has been something I was able to utilize even during college. Just getting those reps even when you can't physically be on the mat, or you have been on the mat and it's like, I need more. It just helps give you that confidence. I always tell my girls, like, if you've done something before, you're confident you can do it again. Well, when you kind of get those visualizing reps in, you've seen yourself do it. So it just builds that confidence and really relates to your performance.
And so that's something you're teaching the girls you wrestle now, even. Or
Yeah,
the girls
like
you coach now, I'm sorry.
Yeah, at Life. That's my favorite thing to kind of help them with is like, because especially you get so much, input on, your strength conditioning and your technique and the mat strategy. Like I feel like sometimes in college you don't get that open door to the mental side of things yet. So I try to really push that. Like sometimes I'll run a meditation before practice, or, just talk to the girls one-on-one. Like I was nervous before my match. I felt like I messed it up. It's like, all right, well, let's work through this. So yeah, I like to work with the girls at Life on their mental side of things.
And if you're working with if there's a young wrestler listening to this and they say, okay, what does that even mean to visualize, or how do I do it? Is it something where you pick a particular technique you're working on, or do you just kind of close your eyes and whatever comes in, you work on that?
I mean, it kind of depends. Like, I do try to hit like reps, but I really enjoy visualizing match. Like walking out from the warm up area. I know my coach is behind me. I might see my opponent before me. Walking up onto the mat. I like to run through a match a lot, and that really gets my blood pumping because you're just in it. For some people, they like to see it, first person. Some people, I like to see it like third person. That's how I see visualization a lot.
Really? You do it third person?
Yeah, almost like as if someone was like videoing me. Like that's how I see it. I try not to because I've heard like it's better to do first person, but I see it as third person a lot.
I never even thought twice about that I just assume that everyone sees it the way they see it. But wow, so that's pretty cool to think about that, like that's what you're seeing as like an overarching view of you walking out and so forth.
Yeah, like usually like walking out, like I could see that first person, but once it becomes action, like I start seeing it from like a third person view. Yeah. And then like some people like to think of it like they have like weights in their hands. So it has to make them go slow. Like, so they have to like really go through the motion slowly and be in that moment for longer. Mine tends to get sped up because I'm got adrenaline pumping because I'm thinking about a match already. But
you get that fired up from it?
I'll do. Oh yeah. Like that's why I like to do it before practice in college, because like, all right, I'm kind of tired, I don't want to be here. All right, give me 2 minutes to sit down and just think about wrestling so and so, and I'm gonna be ready to go. But
I gotta ask.
And then sometimes
sorry, go ahead.
I do like to hit reps sometimes, like especially if I just learned something new. It's like, and Christian always like, all right, got to hit 100 reps of this, before we get anywhere good with it. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna get 20 tonight before bed, just visualizing. So. But you had a question?
Yeah. So you said you only have to think of a couple people to get you going. I gotta ask. I mean, is it Adeline? Is it Tamara? I didn't know what your weight was, but who are you focusing?
Oh yeah. So like now I'm 76. So I'm thinking, Tamara. I'm thinking, or not Tamara. Sorry, thinking Adeline. Thinking about Precious Bell. I'm thinking about Erica Weeb. Just kind of those people who, I don't know. I think about them a lot. Like just like these are people I got to go against. In college, I was thinking about Iris Smith and Jackie Cataline, because those were people I had wrestled but I'd lost to, and it's just like I got to get those people back. Yeah.
So it's ingrained in the psyche and it gets you going. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Now in 2016, you got second at the Olympic trials. Adeline Gray was, is obviously one of the best of all time, but she was really peaking at that time. and this is a fair question, going into the match, what were your expectations? Were you a realist, or did you really think you were going to win that match as a 21-year-old?
I was thinking very realistically. Just, and I hate to say it, but like I knew Adeline was good. I didn't think I was that great yet, but I did, in the back of my mind, I'm like I always think every match is beatable. You can always score a point against somebody. It's like someone can always mess up. Everybody can have a bad day. So I did go in like with the expectation that there's still a chance to win. There's still a chance to win. I could still hit, big move and put her on her back and, be done with it. That did not happen. And that's kind of fine, just because I feel like at that point, I didn't even have an idea what the Olympics was. Like I had no idea how big the Olympic trials were. I had never watched an Olympic Games at that point. I just knew I wanted to be part of it. I was like, that's the big thing. That's what I got to do. So going into Olympic trials, I didn't even understand how big this was about to be. So now I have a better understanding, and I still have the realistic, of course, attitude, but I'm very optimistic about this next set of trials.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's no question. I think, when you look at your results and what you put together, you're right up there, not even in the US, but in the world. But I mean, to think that you got to the finals of the Olympic trials, I think you were 21, right? Or were you
21, 22,
all right,
senior in college.
I mean, most people never even get there. So you were close to tasting Olympic,
right.
Tasting the Olympics. And so you have that expectation to go back there. But obviously I gotta ask you about 2018. You had to sit out a year. And I read that you couldn't even work out with someone with a USA card. Is that right?
Yeah. So when you get sanctioned by USADA, you lose so many resources. So I was, living at the Olympic Training Center. I was, world teams. I had a stipend coming in. I was set. And you can't, once you're under a sanction, you can't have USOPC resources. So I had to move out and I lost my stipend. You can't train with a USA Wrestling event. So I couldn't go to camps. I couldn't train with anybody with the USA Wrestling card. I couldn't coach anybody with the USA Wrestling card. So I couldn't even go coach, a team or something, for my year off of competition. So a lot of people just see it as like, oh, they can't compete for years. Like, no, you get a lot ripped away from you and you got to kind of figure some things out, which it was definitely a hard year figuring out and maneuvering through that and still finding ways to train and get better. But it is what it is.
No workout partners though. Like you can't work out with anyone that has a USA card. That's to me the craziest part.
Yeah. I have the kind of hunt, and that's kind of how I got introduced to life is like, well, you guys aren't a club and now you girls have cards. So, all right, I guess that works. And it definitely worked out for me. But yeah, I had to kind of find people in, the Maryland area that I could work out with because I was trying to go to an RTC because I didn't understand how much restriction was being put on me. So I was trying to go train with Navy, I was trying to train with Maryland and realizing that was not allowed. So definitely had to maneuver through that.
So what was the low point? Because I'm sure, and I've read that you really used that year to turn things around and everyone hits that low point. But I mean, what was it for you? Was it just the loneliness or frustration?
Yeah, there was definitely a bit of loneliness. Like I've always been kind of, introverted and I don't need a lot of social interaction, but it still was just like, man, I'm not around any female wrestlers. I'm in Maryland. I don't know anybody here in general. So that was definitely hard. I felt like my anxiety was starting to pick up just because I had so much fear of other people's opinions of me. Like I didn't want people to just see, all right, Victoria Francis under USADA violation or whatever, and think, oh, she's dope and she's either this, that, and that. It's like, no, I promise. I just messed up, took a bad supplement. So I had just a lot of anxieties going on and fear what was going on. I ended up tearing my MCL during all of that. So then I couldn't even do, lower body stuff. So it was definitely a low point in my life. But like you said, I was able to kind of turn around and I kind of had that motivation again. All right, I'm not going to let someone else dictate my career. I'm not going to tell someone I can't do something. It's like, I can't do this, and this. All right, well, I can do this and this and still make this work as best I can, So, yeah.
It's, the fear of what other people think is probably one of the most crippling things in the world, whether it's not putting out on Instagram posts, because I think people may not like what I'm about to say, or you don't want to leave a job because you're afraid of what people would say. It's incredible, though, how pervasive that fear is.
Oh, absolutely. I catch myself a lot. I'll be doing something. I'm like, wait, why am I even doing this? Or why am I not doing this? It's like, well, that's silly, or even through this pandemic, I realized, like, I was thinking the day, like, I put on some goofy outfit, but it was comfortable because I was going to lift in my gym and nobody was here. And I was like, I should have been doing this all along. This is comfortable. This is, I am able to work out and feel good, but I'm just doing it now because no one can see me. Like, it's wild to think about how much we care about people thinking of ourselves. Yeah.
It's like, why wouldn't you do that all the time? If you like wearing
it. Right. Exactly.
So what were you able to do during that year off? Was it a lot of stance of motion by yourself? Was it a lot of strength and conditioning? How'd you fill your time?
Yeah. So, I mean, still strength conditioning. I was just going to a commercial gym around here. I was able to find people without a USA Wrestling card and practice without, a USA Wrestling club and stuff like that. So, but it was a lot of like, all right, well, this college guy has, this hour period during the day, and I can go on that, that day, and I might show up and they'll be like, actually, I have to go do an exam. And it's like, all right, like, so it was, I had to learn to be very flexible and just, all right, what can I do now? All right, well, there's a bike here. I'm going to go do conditioning, or, I'm going to go do stance and motion. I've got a mat, like, let's use it. So it was doing the next best thing every chance I could, even if the best thing wasn't available at that moment. And then, like I said, learning to be flexible. That was really hard for me. I was so used to, especially OTC, is like, we have the same schedule every week. Like, you knew exactly what you're doing each week, easy to go. So that was definitely learning time for me to be flexible.
Well, you think about, like you just said, most elite athletes, and I'm sure you're back to this now, their schedule is so fine-tuned and they have coaches helping them, and their diet's planned out. And then when you're that variable, it could be stressful, but it also shows you that, hey, if you get to a tournament in Ukraine and the flight's 2 days delayed and you got to go right now, you've seen some shit, so you can go right into it,
Right, exactly. And I feel like I'm still being flexible because like when I'm in Maryland, I kind of train with a couple different high school club teams, and sometimes it's like I might get there and my people I usually practice with aren't there, and it's like, oh shoot, like, all right, but I have this other club I can go to, and they start practice an hour, so it's, I'm still flexible, but it is a little less variable than before. But it has, like you said, it's kind of built up my resiliency, and it's like I end up somewhere and it's like, all right, like I can still figure out what to do. I remember we went to Italy, and the gym was going to be so much money per day pass, and I was like, well, I just need to kind of flush my legs, whatever. So I just went back to the hotel and was just doing stairs. So I was like, that's all I need, stairs for 20 minutes and good to go. So it has kind of built that resiliency and just able to figure out what I need and make things work as I go along.
Yeah, and you mentioned a little bit before that you have a home gym. I noticed you're sponsored by, is it Stray Dog Strength?
Yeah, Stray Dog Strength. Yeah, they reached out to me.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, they reached out to me. I had actually signed up for one of their little giveaways through some other Instagram account, and they're like, hey, like, we're kind of, we're wrestling fam, or, I was a wrestler, and we'd kind of like to sponsor you and help you with, your time leading up to 2020 or 2021 now. So yeah, I have like a cable machine. I've got a landmine, and I got a discount code if anybody ever wants to use it and get their own equipment. But I just love their equipment because like I said, we're in a home gym. Like my gym's literally right here in the living room, and we kind of have a low ceiling. And they
Is
were
it really
custom heights? Yeah.
Pan us over.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Dang.
So my husband made the rack and the platform, and we were able to get weights and all the bands in the world. And I've got my fan bike over there, and yeah, my husband definitely is kind of my hero during this pandemic. He made that, and then he made me a sauna outside. So
what's the sauna heated by?
It's a sauna heater.
Oh, really?
He had to do all the wiring. Yeah, he bought a heater, and he's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how he knows all this stuff about how to wire and plumbing, but I mean, he's really good with construction. But yeah, he built me. I guess it's technically a 9-person sauna. Like, you could put 9 people in there.
Hey, no big deal. He just built me a 9-person sauna. What?
Yeah, I know. Like, and the cool thing is, so like we're gonna move in a couple years from Maryland. Like, he built it so like the walls just unlatch, and we can just put it flat and travel.
Tell him I'll take one, but a 2-person one for my studio here, because that's that's pretty.
I'll put an order with him.
I appreciate it. Well, man, that is so cool that a real handyman. My whole family, except for me, are like laborers, handyman, they can do anything. My cousin,
Right.
he built a rack just like that. And my mainly task before the day or for the week was putting up Christmas lights. That's about all I can do.
That's one of my tasks this week too. Yeah.
Well, I got to say, and folks who are listening, that is truly your living room that you have this
Yes.
badass gym in. You got the flag hanging up, the bands, all of it.
Yeah. No, that used to be couch entertainment system. Kind of like, we don't watch TV in the living room anyway, so it's fine.
Is your husband a wrestler?
He wrestled for like a year or two in high school. Hated it.
Really?
Hated wrestling. Yeah, he's. I always tell people, you hear the prank call, "Is your refrigerator running?" Like, my husband looks like a refrigerator running. He is a solid, sturdy man. He did powerlifting in college, so that was his sweet spot. Yeah.
Does he still get on the weights and crank on them?
Oh yeah. Like, I mean, things are a little different now because he's got a crazy work schedule, and he's also been fixing our whole house, and we're flipping it. But oh yeah, he'll hop on there and just crank it out before he goes to work. And yeah,
I love it.
Big old strong man. Yes, he is.
The last thing I wanted to ask you about is, just kind of your routine now. I know a lot of people, at least I am, fascinated by what people do on a daily basis. So I'm sure there are a lot of wrestlers out there listening right now that would like to know what someone of your caliber does on a daily basis during this this crazy time right now. So what does a day or a week look like for you in your training cycle?
Yeah, so within a week, I get 4 lifts in, and usually about 5 mat practices. So usually it looks like a lift in the morning, wake up, have breakfast, sit and, read or watch some TV, get my lift in, do chores around the house, get a sauna session in. I love going walking on this trail that we got nearby our house. It's a bike trail. I like going out there and walking and playing some Pokemon Go. And then come back home, maybe take a nap, do some more chores around the house. Then I got practice usually in the evenings, ranging between 5 to 6 p.m. depending on where I'm going. And then I'm right to bed. Like 5 to 6 p.m. is way too late for me, but it's just what's available to me right now.
Yeah.
And go to bed and get some sleep. So I keep it pretty simple.
That's a minimalist lifestyle is the one followed by many elite athletes. And growing up, you think about, man, an Olympic wrestler, their day must be so exciting. But really, most professional athletes, their days are pretty chill. It's like morning workout, chilling during the day, and that could be video games, Netflix, whatever. And then a practice at night, and they do that every day for like the next 6 years.
Right. Exactly. It definitely, it's, the routine is just keeping it simple. And I feel like some of us find our ways to change it up, with traveling. Like, I love traveling and, find another place to train and, mixing it up a little bit. But yeah, it is that, it's the simple stuff done right.
And how much of your time are you spending with graphic design these days?
It depends, I just got done doing something for Wrestle Like a Girl, and that was 2 hours a day for, a week or two, just, getting that done. I'm wrapping it up today. And then sometimes I go for a couple weeks without a project, and then it's like, all right, like, I'm going to do something for fun. And then it's just, I might pump out a graphic over the weekend or something just to fill my time. But yeah, it's not too much, but like when I have a project, it does, take 2 hours out of my day. But like you said, it's on my computer. I can go lay in bed and do it and, relax. It's not physically tasking.
So if someone needs a logo, they can shoot you a message and you're open for business, or you occupy? Yeah.
I'm not too occupied right now. If someone wants something done, I'll be happy to give it a shot. Yeah.
Well, I can always appreciate the side hustles, and I think I'm fascinated by doing videos, graphic design, all of that kind of thing. So I saw that on there and wanted to inquire, because I'm always curious on what people are doing outside of the training world.
Yeah. No, I love graphic design because, like, it's just that it fills the gaps of my day a little bit, and it is fun and it's a little artistic, so it's expressing myself. So I love that I've been able to take that up the past couple of years.
Absolutely. Last thing for you, Victoria, is when are we going to see you back out there again soon? Do you have any matches announced, or you're open for matches?
I'm open for matches. Anybody wants to have me, I'm happy to come out and compete. I'm hungry to compete. I'm excited to perform and go out and have some fun. I don't have anything on the schedule right now, but I've got my schedule wide open.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great to chat with you. I know we've exchanged some messages, and thank you for being patient on my reschedule.
Yeah, no problem.
I overbook myself frequently, so it's always great to talk to a fellow Illinoisan, and we're big fans of you here, and just wish you nothing but the best.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for having me today.